and welcome to my pen diary where I'm frolicking about with fountain pens and inks. And today is a more of an experimental day. We are going to mix some inks together. I swatched my browns after I received Urbain Lit d'Eté, and this one, Urbain Rouille d'Encre, is a bit too light for me to write my manuscripts with. So I have the idea to mix a tiny bit of Lit d'Eté into Rouille d'Encre and see if that works a bit better for me. I do quite a bit of color mixing when I'm dyeing yarns. I also do fiber art, and so that is where the idea comes from, that if you have one that doesn't really quite work, why not try to not throw it out, but try to adjust. Because I actually quite like the color, so I don't really want to get rid of it. So we have Rouille d'Encre and Lit d'Eté. And for my first ink experiment, I wanted to stick to one brand when mixing. First, I'm going to swatch out both of them, using a glass pen. And then we'll have, very scientifically, I have my kitchen scale up here, and then we'll see what we can do with that. To swatch, I'm using a Leuchtturm notebook because I'm writing my novels on Leuchtturm paper. So just to make it make sense, I'm trying to basically see whether the inks work for me and my process. So this is why I'm sticking to Leuchtturm paper, which I know is not the norm in the community. But it's sort of, everything's sort of tailored to my usage. Everything needs to have a bit of a practical background. I mean, I sometimes buy inks for their beauty, but mainly this is sort of it's a work-related thing. So we need to approach it with a bit more, with like a level head. But I mean, that said, this is play. This is fun for me. So yeah, let's get started with Rouille d'Encre because that's going to be our main star. And as I said, I really like the color. I don't want to push it aside. I want to just enhance it a bit. So we have Rouille d'Encre on one side, and then Lit d'Eté. On the other. And then let's see what we can create from those two. I definitely still want the Rouille d'Encre to be the main color. I don't want for the pink to go away, to be honest. So that's, now we're going to come to the exciting part of the thing. I have two sample files just in case one doesn't in case there's like a big problem. I think one of them doesn't really stand upright, so that's out for sure. It has this weird little plastic thing on the bottom. Okay, yeah. So we are going with the sample size file, not file, vial. That's and then next to me are my kitchen scales. Just move this over here. And you can see the light beautifully reflected. I'm so sorry. The room that I'm in is not great for lighting. So this is just, it's actually a piece of lecture paper. I just want to note down the sort of the milliliters that I put in, just so I have a record, because I'm actually, my whole family are sort of doctors of chemistry. So I suppose that's my way of doing it. So let's see if that does anything. I think I need to be, it's a very small pipette. I mean, it needs to be enough to fill a pen, so still doesn't register anything, which is fun. I think that's enough. I hope that the scales would do anything. They don't. Okay. I suppose it's not. I need like a more, like a scale that's way more sensitive for that. But I mean, I don't really want to use a lot more. Okay, let's forget about the scale. Let's do the So I'm just going to, because the pipette also doesn't have a milliliter notch or something. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to put an almost like full pipette in there. Okay. And now let's see if that works better. So first I'm going to close up everything ink related, so we don't have a spillage, because that would be a nightmare. Okay. Yeah. The scale didn't really do anything, but I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is play, this is experimenting. Just noting that just one full pipette into, I think, probably 3 of Eau d'encre. It's a bit just, it's not very precise, but hey ho, we're not being precise today. Okay, so I'm gonna mixy, and let's see what this did. These sample files are not really nice. Okay, where did I put the glass pen? Over there. Ooh, okay, yeah. So this is quite what I was hoping for. You still have that sort of pinkish hue. I wouldn't want to do more brown, actually. I think that's, yeah, it's actually still really light. Why is it still really light? Let's see how it writes. So I thought, like with horses, where if you have a foal, you try to give a name that it's a mix between the mother and the father. We do that sort of, I thought we can call it Rusty Tea. Does that work? I think I will have to ink it up in a pen and see, but I actually quite like it. It has some nice shading actually. The thing is, I don't really want to add more of the Rouille d'encre. Okay. That's one of the experiments. Okay, let's try another one, because I also have Urbain Poussière de Lune, so moon dust. And maybe we can do Rouille d'encre with Poussière de Lune. Get another sample file, one that stands up, preferably. Are you standing up? They're all sort of not great. Yeah, have to do. Okay. Because I'm not going to place this on the scale, I think it's actually okay. I'm just going to wing it now. So we will do another swatch of Rouille d'encre. I'm not going to write it beneath it, I think. Well, maybe just for nice symmetry. Just to be absolutely sure we've logged it correctly. Yeah, okay, let's be a bit extra. Okay. Somehow, I think it's the position of the book. Oh, leave this open. No, closed. That makes me a bit weirded out when I use the glass pen. I think I need to sort of count the book, but we're not going to do this now. It's just going to be what it is. Okay, Poussière de Lune is a very dark, sort of aubergine purple. I really like it. It's a bit too, actually sometimes a bit too dark. So maybe we do two flies with one stone, so to speak. If we can lighten this one up a bit. And this one has Accent de Lune. Okay. Well, to start off with the Rouille d'encre, so I know roughly how much I put into the other one. Pipette, pipette. Okay, so I have 3 pipettes full of Rouille d'encre. As I said, not very scientific. Ugh. And I touched it. Great, okay. Why? And one, where are you? Did I put it there? It's difficult to see when they're clear. Just clean it out a bit better. And one, no, huh. It's not, I put in the wrong thing. Okay, that's the bottle. And one full pipette of the Poussière de Lune. Daloon. Let's see what this does. It's going to be... I don't think these wires are actually closing properly, so we'll see. Right. Ooh. That's pretty. That reminds me of a Sailor ink. Probably doesn't have like the same kind of shading, but yeah. And again, I thought we could call this Rusty Dust. Rusty Dust. I really like this. This is so cool. Okay, I will note the sort of what's actually made out of. Rusty Dust. Sort of 3 parts. Doncra, 1 part. Daloon. Okay. Ugh. I need to see how I store these. I think I need to get like a little, yes, of course, splodge all over. I need to get like a little tin or something, I think, where they can live. Yeah. Splattered all over the desk. That's fine. And then the Rusty Tea is also 3 parts. Doncra and 1 part lead tea. Let's see how they come out. Should have done a few figure eights. Let me do that. I actually like that, and I'm sure that this is going to be dark enough to write with. Ooh, I'm still quite in love with this one. That might, because I ordered the big bottle of the Posay de Lune, so I have a lot of it. So this is like the perfect ink to play with because it's very easy to come by for me. And I actually have more than I need. So yeah, perfect. Ooh. Yeah, the desk is a mess. Okay, but I mean, this is what happens. This is the fun bit. Okay, I'm going to let this dry now, and then we'll check back. Almost dry. But at least the swatches are. And I think I need to put the Rusty Dust in a pen straight away. I've cleaned out a few today, and actually one of them is my favorite pen, like for writing my manuscript, my workhorse. It actually puts down quite a bit of ink, so I might have to mix this quite soon again if I want to keep it. But oh, I just love it. Okay, let's do this now. Do not think, just do. Because this is my Parker Jotter. It's not an expensive pen. It has a medium nib that I've written with so much that it's actually now more like a broad. And I cleaned it out. It had diamine writer's blood in it, and I cleaned it out today. And actually, I wasn't quite sure what I would put in afterwards. And I was so, why are you cleaning this so diligently if all you ever want to put in is writer's blood? But now I'm really glad, because I'm going to just show you what I'm doing. Of course, now that's not so great that I chose the, going to fill the converter. It's not. Had not put the converter thingy down. Okay, that's was a bit of a non-start, and obviously I'm getting more ink everywhere. But it's also great, then I can absolutely distinguish between the samples, because one of them only has a tiny bit left in it. Okay, I think it should be fine. Close up, and oh god, everywhere. But I mean, that just happens when you have fun, right? So, going to close up the sample really quickly. Okay. Yeah, I. Okay, so I usually don't post this. It's like, see, it's not there yet. No. Did I put it in correctly? Yeah, okay. Just dip it in a tiny bit. Thankfully, this pen is quite slender, so it actually fits in the vial. Okay. Rusty dust. I think it's, there might still be a bit of water in the pen. Might be why it's actually quite light in the Parker Red Jotter. That's really light. Why? I think today, 19th of January. Oh no. Okay, that's not what I want. Let's see if I can. Maybe I should have waited a couple of days until inking is up, so it can have a chance to dry. But I mean, it's quite close. Oh, I still really like it, even if it's a bit light now. I'll have a look how it, I'll leave it for a bit and see how it looks now afterwards. But I think that was a really nice experiment. I'm sure that I will use the Rusty Tea at some point. And weirdly, this was the one that I really wanted to try, and this was sort of a happy accident. I think, let me just put this up. This, even though it comes out a bit lighter than I thought it would in the writing, it will still be more readable than the Rouille d'Encre is. So that's actually really good. And it's a nice sort of pinky, purpley. I'm a bit hesitant to go full throttle into pink inks because, again, I think it will be difficult to transcribe them afterwards because they're quite hard on the eyes. But this is lovely. Okay, so maybe I have inspired you to just go ahead and play and mix some inks. I mean, I've been still quite careful because I only used like one brand to do it. So hopefully not mixing, I don't know, and no shimmer inks with non-shimmer inks. I'm sure I'm going to get like more experimental as the time goes on, but this has been so fun, so I'm definitely doing it again. Like, watch this space. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to see more wild stuff like this, subscribe. Let me know what inks you have mixed, or what would you like to see mixed. I mean, I don't have a large collection, as a sort of why I'm doing stuff like this, to actually make stuff go further and yeah, have more colors without buying more inks, really. So yeah, subscribe, give me a thumbs up if this playful video was to your liking, and then I see you soon. Thank you so much.